Responded with an 8-0 run. The Fever now on an 11-2 advantage. Miscommunication and stolen by McDonald, who races to the other end and finishes.
As soon as she comes on the floor, everything changes with this team.
Aari McDonald has just changed everything for the Indiana Fever, and honestly, WNBA fans were not ready for this. After weeks of doom around and wasting clock. No, Aari attacked. She set the tempo. She moved the ball. She ran real pick. dangerous. Aari McDonald wasn't even supposed to be part of this team's future, and now? People are asking if the Fever can afford to let her go once the hardship contract runs out. Spoiler alert, they can't.
I was a slight bit anxious, but again, it was my first day. I wasn't trying to overthink because that's when turnovers happen or you just mess up, but just constantly playing, just not thinking too much and just calling what I'm comfortable with. But the girls did a great job of just, cheering me on and being very, accepting and welcoming.
But if the Fever drag their feet, another team could scoop Aari up before they even get the chance. And trust me, after that debut, there are teams watching. If the Fever blow this, it'll be one of the biggest mistakes of their season. Without Caitlin Clark, the Fever needed to find out if they could survive. They needed to find leaders who could step up and win games without leaning on their rookie star.
She's more of a scorer than a point guard. But nonetheless, they got a pretty decent player.
And McDonald showed them they can, and she makes players like Kelsey Mitchell better, which makes the whole team better. If the Fever are serious about building a contender, if they're serious about winning, even when Clark is out, Aari McDonald has to be part of that plan. Let's talk about the game itself, because while Aari McDonald stole the show, the Fever's win over the Mystics was a total team effort.
The Fever having 85 points to the Washington Mystics 76 points. And not only did the Fever just win, guys, and just beat the Mystics, but they just won during the current WNBA's commission.
First off, this wasn't some blowout cruise control win. The Fever had to fight for it. After jumping out to a strong lead, they nearly collapsed in the fourth quarter, letting a 14-point advantage shrink all the way down to just 1 point. The Mystics, despite their struggles this season, weren't about to roll over. Led by Brittany Sykes and Shakira Austin, they turned up the defensive pressure late in the game, forcing the Fever into some uncomfortable possessions.
Very exciting game, okay? That fourth and final quarter, though.
But here's what really stood out. The Fever didn't fold. In the past, Indiana would have blown that lead and gone home with another frustrating loss. Not this time. They stayed composed, hit key free throws, and got defensive stops when it mattered. And most importantly, they didn't panic. Aari McDonald's ability to control the tempo played a huge part in that. Even in crunch time, she kept the ball moving, refused to let the offense stagnate, and didn't force bad shots. That maturity, that poise, you just don't expect from a player who hasn't even had a full week with the team. Aari McDonald's stunning debut wasn't just a one-time thing, it opened a real, complicated conversation inside the Indiana Fever's front office. Here's the reality. McDonald is currently on a hardship contract, meaning she's only here because the Fever needed an emergency roster replacement with Caitlin Clark and others sidelined. Hardship contracts aren't meant to be permanent. They're a short-term bandage.
McDonald, she held her own. She did all she could because she did, she contributed to tonight's win, okay, overall. But
Aari McDonald isn't playing like a temporary fix. She's playing like a long-term solution, and now the Fever are facing a high-stakes decision. As soon as players like Sophie Cunningham return from injury, the Fever will have to make roster cuts. They're maxed out on spots. WNBA teams don't have the luxury of deep benches like NBA squads. That's when she's lethal. Pairing her with a second reliable ball handler like McDonald could unlock new levels of offense. Because this is far from over.